Welcome back, everybody, to the deep dive. Today, we're going to do something kind of cool. We're going to take a peek behind the scenes of a multi-million-dollar YouTube business. And get this, it was built from scratch by this guy, Charlie Chang.
Yeah, Charlie Chang.
Our source for all this juicy info is an interview we got with Charlie himself. He actually breaks down his entire journey step by step. So,
This is pretty awesome.
yeah, so if you've ever, thought about how people actually turn YouTube views, into like cold, hard cash.
Make a living. Yeah,
Yeah, this is going to be a really interesting one for you guys.
definitely. So what's really fascinating about Charlie's story is it's not like he just, stumbled into success overnight, like some viral video sensation.
Right.
He had a really kind of interesting path, a lot of twists and turns, and it was actually those early struggles that I think really helped him pave the way for everything that he's accomplished.
Yeah, he started out like a lot of people go to college, then trying to find a traditional job is not always easy. But here's where things get interesting. He didn't just sit around waiting for opportunity to come knocking on his door. He got out there and hustled. I mean, he tried a whole bunch of different side gigs.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, we're talking photography, video modeling, even had a clothing brand for a bit.
Which is interesting because you can see how those connect later on.
It all comes full circle.
Exactly. Like, photography that probably gave him an edge in creating visually appealing videos.
Yeah?
And then his marketing experience, that likely helped him understand how to reach an audience, how to promote his content.
So it's almost like those seemingly random gigs were actually like puzzle pieces kind of fitting together later on in this bigger picture.
Yeah, definitely foreshadowing.
Okay, so let's talk about the moment that Charlie kind of had this realization that YouTube could be something special. I hear there was a specific event that really sparked this whole thing for him.
Yeah, he actually talks about making $750 in a single day from AdSense.
Yeah.
Now, that might not sound like a fortune, but it was enough to make him realize, hey, there's something here.
Right.
It's that validation that gives you the fuel to keep going.
Totally. It's like a sign from the universe. It's pointing you in the right direction.
Yeah.
But let's be honest for a sec. Most people, when they think about YouTube income, they think ads.
Right.
But was that the case for Charlie?
Not entirely. And this is actually a key takeaway, especially if you're thinking about YouTube for yourself. Charlie diversified his income from the very beginning.
Smart.
He had 3 main revenue streams.
Oh, wow. Okay.
About half of his income came from affiliate marketing.
So for our listener, that could be anything from recommending software that you use to promoting a book, on a topic you're passionate about.
Exactly. Then another 20 to 25% came from brand sponsorships, where companies pay him to feature their products in his videos.
I bet that gets pretty competitive, though, especially with 6 channels to manage.
Oh, for sure. It definitely requires building those relationships and proving your value to brands. And then finally, the remaining portion of his income did come from AdSense, those ads that you see in YouTube videos.
So he's not putting all his eggs in one basket, which is a smart move.
Definitely.
Especially in the world of online business, things change so quickly.
Absolutely. And speaking of learning from others, Charlie actually mentioned that he used a website called Starter Story for inspiration, much like you're using this deep dive right now.
I love that. It's that whole idea of learning from people who have already walked the path.
Mentorship.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's dive into his content strategy, because I hear he's got this kind of 2-pronged approach that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, so on one hand, he focuses on what we call evergreen SEO content. Think of videos like how to invest in stocks or the best productivity apps for entrepreneurs.
Gotcha. So content that's always relevant.
Exactly. People are always searching for that kind of stuff.
Timeliness.
Yeah. And those videos, they build a really strong foundation for his channel. They attract a steady stream of viewers over time. It's almost like building a library of valuable information that people can always come back to.
I like that.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, he also creates what we call viral content. So those videos that are designed to capture attention quickly spread like wildfire. I hear he even did one called Asking Coachella VIPs What They Do for a Living.
Oh, yeah, that one's a classic.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's such a great example because, everyone's curious about that world.
Oh,
So it's naturally attention grabbing.
yeah.
And that type of content does wonders for boosting his visibility, reaching a much wider audience than he might with just evergreen content alone.
It's almost like a 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
You've got the steady growth with the evergreen stuff, and then these big bursts of attention from the viral hits.
Exactly.
Now, I was checking out some of his videos the other day, and I noticed something about the titles.
Oh, yeah.
They're really well crafted, like super clickable. It's like they're drawing you in. Is that intentional?
Oh, absolutely. Charlie understands the importance of presentation. A compelling title can be the difference between someone clicking on your video or scrolling right past it. He knows how to pique people's curiosity, make them want to learn more.
So he's thinking like, if I was the viewer, what would make me want to click on this?
Exact.
So we've got the evergreen SEO content for consistent growth, viral content for those big bursts of attention, and then those expertly crafted titles to draw people in. Anything else we should know about his content strategy?
One more thing that I think really sets Charlie apart is his focus on making complex topics easy to understand.
Right.
He doesn't dumb things down, but he presents information in a way that's engaging and digestible.
Yeah.
Even for someone who might be new to the subject.
It's like meeting the viewer where they're at.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's talk about how he built this whole operation. I mean, 6 YouTube channels, that's not a one-man show, right?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Charlie has built a full-fledged business around his YouTube channels. He actually has a team of 26 people, mostly overseas talent, and he's investing a significant amount of money, around $225,000 a month, to keep everything running smoothly.
Wow, that's serious commitment.
Yeah.
What kind of roles does his team fill?
He's got people handling everything from video editing and production to social media management, content, research, graphic design, you name it.
It's like a well-oiled machine. But here's where things get even more interesting. Remember how we talked about all those different side hustles he tried early on?
Yeah.
Well, it turns out all that experience came full circle.
Right. Charlie actually started a staffing company to help other businesses hire overseas talent, just like he does for his own YouTube team.
So he's not just creating content, he's helping others do the same.
Exactly.
That's brilliant. And I bet his YouTube channels play a big role in promoting that staffing company, right?
Absolutely. He's leveraging his existing platform to market his new venture. It's a smart way to reach a targeted audience that's already interested in the services he offers.
That's a perfect example of how one opportunity can lead to another.
Yeah.
And it all started with those early side hustles and that willingness to try new things.
It just goes to show you never know where your experiences might lead you. Sometimes the most unexpected paths can lead to the greatest success.
I love that.
Yeah. And it really highlights the importance of staying open to possibilities and, just being willing to adapt your course as you go.
Absolutely. Speaking of adapting, Charlie's a big believer in keeping your finger on the pulse. You know, it's trending. He even talked about how he doesn't limit himself to one specific niche on YouTube. He kind of goes where the audience is.
Right.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, that's crucial in today's fast-paced digital world. You constantly have to be, spotting trends, understanding what people are interested in right now, and then creating content that resonates with those interests.
It's almost like being a surfer. Riding the waves of what's popular. You're not just creating content in a vacuum, you're responding to the ever-changing desires of your audience.
Exact.
So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about some of the advice that Charlie has for aspiring entrepreneurs. I know you pulled some key takeaways from his interview. What stood out to you?
One of the things that he stressed was the importance of surrounding yourself with content and people that inspire you.
Oh, I like that. Creating an environment that fuels your creativity.
Exactly. It's about feeding your mind with positive influences, whether it's through books, podcasts, mentors, or even just like-minded individuals who are pursuing their own passions.
So it's not just about working hard in isolation. It's about cultivating that supportive ecosystem that helps you thrive.
Exactly.
Awesome. What else did Charlie recommend?
He also emphasized the importance of learning high-value skills that you can monetize. It's not just about learning for the sake of learning, but learning things that can actually help you build a business or a career.
So thinking about skills that are in demand,
Yeah.
things that people are willing to pay for. So that could be anything from coding to graphic design to writing.
Absolutely. And with all these online learning platforms out there, there's really never been a better time to invest in your education and develop those valuable skills.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a formal degree either.
No.
There's tons of courses and resources available online that can teach you practical skills that you can apply immediately.
For sure. It's about being proactive and taking ownership of your own learning.
So we've got surround yourself with inspiration, learn high-value skills. What else is on Charlie's list of entrepreneurial advice?
He actually had a few specific recommendations for getting started.
Oh, okay.
He suggested starting with an agency or a service-based business.
Why that particular model?
Well, he pointed out that it's a relatively low-cost way to get started.
Makes sense.
You don't need a ton of capital up front.
Yeah.
And you can start generating revenue pretty quickly.
So for our listeners out there, that could be anything from starting a freelance writing business, offering social media management services, virtual assistant work, I mean, the options are endless.
Exactly. And those types of businesses allow you to kind of test the waters of entrepreneurship without taking on a huge amount of risk.
Yeah.
You gain experience, you build a portfolio, and you figure out what you're good at and what you enjoy.
And you can build those client relationships that can lead to bigger and better things down the road.
Exactly. It's about taking those first steps, building momentum, and learning as you go.
Now, I know Charlie's a big believer in taking action. Did he have any specific advice around that?
He had one piece of advice that really stuck with me. He said, don't overanalyze. Pick an idea and go.
I love that. Sometimes we can get so caught up in planning and strategizing that we
Yeah.
never actually take that first step.
We get paralyzed by the fear of failure or fear of making the wrong decision.
Right.
But the best way to learn is by doing,
Sometimes that means making mistakes along the way.
of course.
But that's okay. It's all part of the process.
Exactly. It's about embracing those challenges,
Mhm.
learning from them. And if something doesn't work out, you pivot, you adjust your approach, and you keep moving forward.
So it's that combination of taking action, but also being adaptable, being willing to change course if necessary.
Exactly. And Charlie's own journey is a testament to that philosophy.
Yeah.
He didn't achieve his success by following some rigid plan. He was willing to experiment, try new things, and adapt to the changing landscape of YouTube.
Speaking of his journey, let's talk about his decision to build a team. I mean, it takes a lot to manage 6 successful YouTube channels. What can we learn from how he approached that process?
One thing that stands out is his willingness to leverage global talent. Remember, he has a team of 26 people, and most of them are overseas. He's not limited by geographical boundaries, which gives him access to a wider pool of skilled individuals.
And that's something that's becoming more and more common these days with the rise of remote work and all these online collaboration tools.
Right.
It's easier than ever to build a team that spans the globe.
It's a really smart strategy for businesses of all sizes. It allows you to tap into a diverse range of skills and perspectives while also potentially keeping costs lower.
Right, and it gives you the flexibility to work with people in different time zones,
Yeah.
which can be a huge advantage for productivity.
Absolutely. And remember, Charlie's own experience building this global team led him to start his staffing company.
Right.
He saw an opportunity to help other businesses navigate that process.
He's always thinking ahead.
Exactly.
It's like he's constantly looking for ways to turn his experiences into new opportunities.
Yeah, and that staffing company is a perfect example of how he's leveraging his existing platform to expand his reach and his impact.
It's a win-win situation.
Exactly.
He's providing a valuable service to other businesses while also growing his own brand and diversifying his income streams.
It's all about creating that synergy between his different ventures.
So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive into Charlie Chang's YouTube empire, what are some key takeaways for our listeners who are on their own entrepreneurial journeys?
Well, first and foremost, I think it's about embracing that mindset of continuous learning and adaptability.
Huge.
Yeah.
In a world that's constantly evolving, you can't afford to stand still.
You need to be willing to learn new skills, adapt to changing trends, and pivot your approach when necessary.
Don't be afraid to try new things, even if they seem a little outside your comfort zone.
Right.
You never know what opportunities might arise from those experiences.
Exactly. And along those lines, I think Charlie's emphasis on diversifying your income streams is incredibly valuable advice. Don't rely on just one single source of revenue. Explore different avenues for monetizing your skills and passions.
And that's a lesson that applies not just to YouTubers,
Right.
but to anyone building a business or a career these days. The more options you have, the more resilient you'll be in
Exactly.
the face of uncertainty.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And finally, I think Charlie's story is a powerful reminder that success is a journey, not a destination. It's about taking action, learning from your mistakes, and constantly striving to improve.
Embracing those ups and downs, the challenges and triumphs that come with pursuing your dreams. It's about having that growth mindset and never giving up even when things get tough.
Absolutely. And remember, Charlie's journey wasn't like this perfect straight line to success.
Yeah.
You know, he had his fair share of struggles and setbacks along the way, but he persevered. He learned from those experiences,
Yeah.
and ultimately, he came out stronger on the other side.
One thing that really stuck with me was his advice about changing your environment or a routine for a breakthrough. Sometimes we can get so stuck in our ways
Yeah,
that we need to shake things up a bit to get those creative juices flowing.
definitely.
Did he elaborate on that at all?
He did. He talked about how even small changes can make a big difference,
Hmm.
like rearranging your workspace,
Oh, yeah.
trying a new coffee shop, or even taking a different route to work.
It's about breaking out of those patterns.
Exactly, those routines that can stifle creativity.
Yeah, and sometimes it might even require a more drastic change, like moving to a new city,
Right.
which Charlie actually did. He talked about how that fresh start really helped him see things from a new perspective and opened up all these new opportunities.
Yeah, it can be really powerful to get out of your comfort zone,
So it's about recognizing when you need that change, whether it's a subtle shift or a major life adjustment.
for sure.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Charlie Chang's YouTube empire, what's the one piece of advice that you think our listeners should really take to heart?
Hmm, that's a good question. I think it all boils down to action.
Action.
Taking that first step, even if it's a small one. Don't let fear hold you back.
Don't overthink it.
Exactly. Pick an
Healthy.
idea, develop a plan, and start taking action towards making it a reality.
I love that. It's a reminder that you are in control of your own destiny.
You have the power to make things happen.
You said it. And remember, it doesn't have to be perfect right from the start.
Of course not.
It's about progress, not perfection.
Embrace the messy, imperfect beginnings. It's all part of the learning process.
And if you stumble along the way, that's okay.
It is. It's an opportunity to learn, adjust, and keep growing.
Well said. And hey, if anyone listening is feeling inspired by Charlie's story and wants to, learn more about the world of entrepreneurship, don't forget to check out Starter Story.
Yeah, that's a fantastic resource. It's full of real-world stories, practical advice, and inspiration for anyone on their entrepreneurial journey.
So as we sign off today, we want to hear from you. What topics or individuals would you like us to explore in future deep dives? We're always on the lookout for those fascinating stories and insights that can help our listeners learn, grow, and achieve their goals.
Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.